The call came at 6 a.m. Marine dealers across America were getting the same message: cancel everything. Yamaha just changed the game. What happened next sent shockwaves through every boat manufacturer, every service department, and every showroom floor from Miami to Melbourne. Mercury went into emergency meetings. Suzuki's stock crashed. Dealers with millions in inventory watched their investments evaporate overnight, because when the world's most trusted outboard maker suddenly slashes prices by 25%, it's not a sale, it's a declaration of war. But here's what nobody saw coming. This wasn't desperation. This was calculated destruction. Yamaha had discovered something in their Japanese factories that made this assault not just possible, but unstoppable. And the entire marine industry is about to pay the price. For 40 years, Yamaha outboards commanded respect and premium prices in equal measure. When you bought a Yamaha, you weren't just buying an engine, you were buying peace of mind. The F425 XTO, their flagship V8, carried a $78,000 price tag that dealers never had to justify. Customers understood. This was bulletproof engineering, Japanese precision that would run for decades with basic maintenance. By late 2024, Yamaha held 28% of the global outboard market, sitting comfortably in second place behind Mercury Marine. Their reputation was built on a simple formula: conservative innovation, obsessive quality control, and prices that reflected uncompromising standards. Marine mechanics would tell you straight, if you wanted to spend less time in the shop and more time on the water, you bought a Yamaha. But beneath this veneer of dominance, pressure was building. Mercury had launched their aggressive V10 series with pricing that undercut Yamaha by 15%. Suzuki's new lean burn technology was capturing budget-conscious buyers who suddenly cared more about fuel economy than heritage. Most alarming were the Chinese manufacturers, Parsun and Hidea, entering Western markets at 40% below traditional pricing. These weren't the knockoffs of a decade ago. They were legitimate competitors with modern factories and improving quality. The numbers told a story Yamaha couldn't ignore. Market share had slipped from 28 to 24.5% in just 18 months. Across North American dealerships, 14,000 Yamaha outboards sat unsold, gathering dust while dealers paid 7.5% interest on floor planning costs. Every month those engines remained in inventory meant thousands of dollars in carrying costs bleeding from dealer balance sheets. At a closed-door meeting in Atlanta, Yamaha's North American president delivered a message that would later prove prophetic. Corporate Japan was planning something unprecedented. Details were classified, but dealers were told to prepare for a fundamental shift in how Yamaha would compete. Nobody in that room could have imagined what was coming. The company that had built its empire on premium pricing was about to detonate a bomb that would reshape the entire marine industry. On January 8, 2025, at exactly 9 a.m. Eastern, Yamaha released a statement that would be remembered as the moment the outboard wars truly began. Effective immediately, the entire four-stroke lineup would see price reductions between 15 and 25%. The F425 XTO dropped from $78,000 to $65,000. The F300 fell from $32,000 to $25,500. The popular F150 plummeted from $18,000 to $14,900. These weren't limited-time promotions or dealer incentives. These were permanent price restructures, retroactive to all December orders. Within minutes, marine forums exploded. Dealers' phones rang off the hook. Customers who had been contemplating purchases for months suddenly demanded immediate delivery. Those who had just bought Mercury or Suzuki engines wanted to cancel orders. The industry had seen price wars before, but never from Yamaha. Never this aggressive, and never without warning. The secret behind this shocking move lay hidden in Yamaha's Fukuroi manufacturing plant. For 3 years, the company had quietly invested $400 million in revolutionary production technology. Automated assembly lines powered by artificial intelligence could now build engines with 82% fewer defects. A new modular component system had slashed assembly time from 14 hours to just 6 hours per engine. Advanced robotics handled precision tasks that once required teams of skilled technicians. A production manager, speaking on condition of anonymity, revealed the breakthrough. We can now build a V6 for what it used to cost us to build a 4-cylinder. Automation doesn't just reduce labor costs, it eliminates variability. Every engine is perfect. But technology was only half the strategy. Yamaha had achieved something their competitors hadn't: 85% vertical integration. While Mercury and Suzuki still relied on hundreds of suppliers, Yamaha was making nearly everything in-house. From pistons to propellers, control modules to cowlings, it all came from Yamaha facilities. They had eliminated the middlemen, the markup chains, and the supply chain vulnerabilities that had plagued the industry during COVID. This wasn't just about selling more engines. This was about total market domination before their electric outboard launch planned for 2027. The avalanche began immediately. Within 48 hours, Mercury Marine called an emergency board meeting. Suzuki's stock plummeted 8% on the Tokyo exchange. BRP, which had abandoned the outboard market with Evinrude, suddenly began reconsidering re-entry. The unthinkable had happened. Yamaha had weaponized efficiency. Mercury responded with 12% rebates within 2 weeks, but it felt desperate against Yamaha's permanent restructuring. Suzuki extended warranties to 10 years, trying to sell reliability over price. Neither strategy worked. In the first month alone, 4,200 Mercury and Suzuki orders were canceled. Yamaha's market share surged to 34% by February. The human cost was devastating. Jim Harrison, a Virginia dealer with 35 years in the business, sat on $2.8 million in suddenly devalued Mercury inventory. "I've weathered recessions, COVID, supply chain crises," he said, staring at his empty showroom. "But this is different. Yamaha didn't just lower prices, they reset what customers expect to pay. My entire inventory became overpriced overnight." Used outboard values crashed 20% in 30 days. Banks scrambled to reassess marine loan portfolios. Insurance companies recalculated replacement values, leaving boat owners underinsured. Marina service departments, which had relied on parts markup for 30% of profits, watched margins evaporate as Yamaha slashed component prices alongside engines. Small dealerships faced impossible choices. Those heavily invested in Mercury or Suzuki inventory couldn't match Yamaha's prices without taking massive losses. Some tried to hold firm, betting customers would pay premiums for brand loyalty. They were wrong. Others liquidated at crushing losses just to generate cash flow. 3 dealerships in Florida alone filed for bankruptcy protection by March. The disruption rippled upstream. Boat manufacturers with exclusive Mercury contracts found themselves locked into engines nobody wanted to buy. Grady White, Boston Whaler, and Sea Ray scrambled to renegotiate OEM agreements. Some began offering Yamaha options for the first time in decades. The entire marine industry supply chain, built on predictable pricing and stable margins, began unraveling. $1.2 billion in market value vanished from Yamaha's competitors. 3,500 jobs disappeared across manufacturing, distribution, and retail. Experts studying Yamaha's bombshell identified a perfect storm of preparation, technology, and timing. The $400 million factory upgrade wasn't just about automation. It represented a fundamental rethinking of manufacturing philosophy. While American companies focused on quarterly earnings, Yamaha had played a decade-long game. Marine economist Dr. Sarah Mitchell explained the genius. Yamaha turned manufacturing efficiency into market warfare. They didn't just reduce costs, they eliminated entire layers of complexity. When you control 85% of your supply chain and automate precision assembly, you can move faster than companies still negotiating with hundreds of suppliers. The timing was surgical. Several key Mercury patents had expired in 2024, allowing Yamaha to incorporate proven technologies without licensing fees. The post-COVID boat buying slowdown had created desperate dealers willing to switch brands. Interest rates at 7.5% favored cash buyers who could take advantage of lower prices immediately. But the real advantage was cultural. Japanese manufacturing philosophy, Kaizen, or continuous improvement, had been embedded in Yamaha's DNA since the 1960s. Every worker, from factory floor to executive suite, was empowered to suggest efficiency improvements. Over decades, these tiny optimizations compounded into revolutionary capability. An internal Yamaha document, leaked to trade publications, revealed the deeper strategy. Electric outboards were coming by 2027, but battery technology remained expensive and unproven. Yamaha needed maximum market share before that transition. Controlling 40% of the conventional market would provide the cash flow and customer loyalty to dominate the electric era. They weren't just winning today's war, they were funding tomorrow's revolution. Industry analyst Tom Rodriguez saw historical parallels. This is exactly what Honda did to Harley-Davidson in the 60s. They didn't build better motorcycles. They built them so efficiently that they could sell at prices Americans couldn't match. By the time competitors figured out how to respond, Honda owned the market. The numbers supported this theory. Yamaha could now produce an F-150 for $11,000 while maintaining their legendary quality standards. Selling at $14,900 still delivered healthy margins while appearing impossibly cheap to consumers accustomed to $18,000 prices. As spring 2025 arrives, the marine industry faces a transformed landscape. Mercury rumors suggest a sub-$10,000 150 horsepower model in development, built in Mexico with simplified components. Suzuki has announced a partnership with Toyota for hybrid outboards, trying to leapfrog Yamaha's electric timeline. Chinese manufacturers, surprisingly, have retreated from Western markets, unable to compete with Yamaha's new price-to-quality ratio. Yamaha stands poised to capture 40% market share by 2026, a dominance unseen since the early days of outboard manufacturing. But their electric prototypes, spotted testing in Japanese waters, hint at an even more radical transformation ahead. Marina infrastructure remains unprepared for widespread electric adoption. Charging stations, battery replacement protocols, and technician training lag years behind. Yet Yamaha's conventional engine profits are funding solutions to each challenge. A senior Yamaha engineer, speaking off-record, revealed the endgame. Whoever wins the gas wars will fund the electric revolution. We're not just selling engines, we're building an ecosystem. Every customer who buys a Yamaha today is investing in the network that will support them tomorrow. The prediction from industry insiders is stark. Only 3 major manufacturers will survive until 2030. Economics no longer supports multiple players with similar products. Software updates, remote diagnostics, and predictive maintenance are becoming as important as mechanical reliability. Yamaha's engines already phone home performance data, allowing prevention of failures before they occur. For boat owners, this disruption brings unprecedented value. Premium reliability at middle market prices has democratized access to quality marine power. Weekend anglers can afford engines that previously required commercial budgets. Families can explore waters with confidence, knowing their investment is protected by both price and performance. As the wake settles from Yamaha's bombshell, a profound truth emerges. Innovation isn't always about breakthrough technology or revolutionary design. Sometimes it's about perfecting the process so completely that you can give customers what they've always wanted: uncompromising quality at a fair price. Yamaha didn't just disrupt the outboard market. They reminded an entire industry that efficiency, pursued relentlessly, becomes its own form of innovation. And on waters from Miami to Melbourne, that's a revolution worth celebrating.